Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. How you doing? A lot going on, right? Okay. Well, yesterday was Constitution Day. In 1787, 39 men signed our Constitution. And within the last several months, one man has begun to take away our constitutional rights. Free speech being huge. Are we seriously going to allow this to happen? You know, the word patriot came from the Revolution. Patriots and Loyalists to the 13 colonies. Right now we have patriots to our Constitution, and we have loyalists to a criminal king. This is where we stand right now. And it's so heartbreaking to see one of the best countries in the world become one of the worst countries in the world. And people can say, well, you shouldn't say that we're the worst country. When we send immigrants away to other countries, death camps, and with no due process, which is part of our Constitution, we have to recognize that patriots to the Constitution are separate from the loyalists to a criminal king. Wanting to take our rights to protest, taking our rights as women, minorities, marginalized groups of people. We have to understand how this is happening. And I always refer back to Rome, the mistakes that we should have learned from being a democracy. And you'll have MAGA say, well, we're not a democracy, we're a republic, a constitutional republic. Okay, well, if we're a constitutional republic, you can't get there without democracy, number one. And number two, you are no longer a patriot to the Constitution. So you just want to be a republic of what? A republic to a dictator, to a fascist, to a criminal king. Using God and Jesus as a manipulator rather than an ideology. You know, we hear this thing now, hate speech. Well, I hate what's going on. So everything I speak about is going to be hate speech towards the criminal king and his loyalists who are not patriots to our Constitution. You see how all of those words interchange? You know, Donald Trump once said that he loved the uneducated. And then recently he said, smart people don't like me. That's true. Smart people don't like you because they are intelligent enough to understand what you are doing, what you have done, and where we are going as a nation. I refuse to be a loyalist to a criminal king. And that's what you have in place, are loyalists. If you've seen Kash Patel in his hearings the past couple of days, you'll see that. He's not a patriot. Our criminal king refuses to release files on pedophiles because he's in them. Kash Patel was a driving force to have the release of the Epstein files. So when he was chosen to be the leader of the FBI, as well as a loyalist to the criminal king, he's made a decision to be a loyalist to a criminal king rather than a patriot to our country. Hate speech. Charlie Kirk once said and stated, and you can find it, hate speech and gross speech is free speech and our constitutional right. So, in Kirk's name, they're trying to take away the speech that he himself practiced and believed was a freedom of his. So, smart people can say, wait a minute, this man preached the constitutional right of free speech because he was of hate speech. Yesterday, being Constitution Day, I did a lot of soul searching. And I have to say that this is where we are divided. Chaos will erupt. You cannot sit down. You have to speak out. I will tell people they need to prepare. Because MAGA is prepared to go to the streets to shut you up, to stop you. They think they're the majority when in fact they are not. And I'm going to say it like this, and I'm not saying it to be racist. I'm not saying it at all to be racist. White women, you are the changing factor. And I'm not saying that blacks or Latinos or white men are not part of that. But white women are a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the majority. And I did a video not too long ago about MAGA women needing to wake up. And it's the truth. Because these white MAGA women do not understand what's happening because they don't accept it. They call it lies. They call it deception. White women have a privilege that others are not going to have in this situation, but we have to fight for it. MAGA women, MAGA white women, if you are patriot to the Constitution and you want your rights and you do not want the 19th Amendment taken away because it is so important, and you are okay with living in a patriarchy, think about your sisters, your daughters, your granddaughters, the heirs that come after you. Do you really desire them to be less than a man? Even though in 1787 women still didn't have rights and we still had slavery, the amendments to the Constitution that we have fought for, legislated for, are our rights, are our civil liberties. Yesterday being Constitution Day, I decided that we need to organize. And if you want to be a part of not allowing this criminal king to rule us, and understand that the Declaration of Independence made us independent from from a king and a king's rule. There are three branches of legislation, and all three branches are letting us down. None of them are patriots to our Constitution. None of them care about civil liberties. And so we need to organize. We need to get this right. We absolutely need to get this right. I will tell people that they need to prepare their homes. You need to prepare your mind. You need to prepare for the biggest fight in this country since the Civil War. Hand in hand, arm in arm. Stand up with our Black Americans. Stand up with our Latino and Asian Americans. I come from Scottish and Irish heritage. And that gives me a privilege from a European nation with white blood or white skin, white blood. And so I will use that privilege in any way to be the patriot for our Constitution and our people, our rights, our civil liberties. You know, they talk about hate speech. Well, Brian Kilmeade, who said, just kill him, involuntary lethal injection. People have died after that statement. Are they connected, or is it just coincidence? Right now, that's up to you. But I can tell you in Mississippi, that Black man's family are fighting because they were lied to about, number one, where his body was found. How does someone with broken bones commit suicide by hanging themselves in a tree? They put out the history of the white man killed in Mississippi as a drug addict and They tried to diminish him as a human being because he was a drug addict. Well, Bobby Kennedy was a drug addict. He was a heroin addict. And they want to follow his suit about what's best for our country health wise. Good morning, Ruth. I'm glad to see you. One of my chickens I'm worried about. She just came by and pecked my foot to let me know she was going by. I would say prepare for this country by getting every vaccination you can, get your children vaccinated, follow normal protocol if you can, beg your doctors to do what they can. A heroin addict is telling people how to take care of their health. An FBI, the head of the FBI is telling you there's nothing to see here when it comes to the Epstein files. He lied about the FBI being involved with the capture of Kirk Shooter, who turned himself in. Donald Trump is spending our tax money like, I don't know, like a real housewife. Putting a club into our White House, a ballroom that the common folk will never ever see or enjoy. He wants everyday Americans to thank him for those things. Are you going to be able to have steak and caviar at the club? Bubbly champagne? How can you thank someone who is a criminal, a vile human being, who is our criminal king, who have loyalists that he turned from patriots to loyalists, and who's left behind? The true patriots. And the true patriots have to stand up. We have to speak out. And I have to get going. Have a job interview today. So I want to thank everybody who's subscribing. Please share, like, subscribe. Let's make this a community. I will keep you updated on things that I can find out, or point you in directions of maybe people that I've seen that you haven't seen. Point point me into directions. Help me out. Let me know what's going on in your part of the country, and we'll stand up together as true patriots of this country before we lose it. Because we're losing it now. The bottom of the box is coming loose. Y'all have a great day. Hugs from a distance. I love y'all.